Now let me give you a glimpse of how the future diagnostic language is going to sound like. Let's take a patient, start with the phenomenology. The patient comes to the emergency room after 2 weeks of change in behavior, restless, disorganized, jumps from one concept to another, occasionally talks about delusions, persecution delusions, false, unshakable beliefs, and he's also obviously not happy about what's happening, and he's also complaining of depression. So this kind of patient would probably get a DSM schizoaffective or some kind of mixture on the spectrum between psychosis on one hand and also depression concomitant with the psychosis. Now, in terms of brain dynamics, neuroanalytic diagnosis, we know that the disorganization is a result of disconnection dynamics in the cortex, in the brain. Disconnection is a general term, specifically a disturbance to small world network organization. And even more specifically, a reduction in clustering coefficients, so the nearby connections are disconnected compared to balanced far-away connections. So this would be the disturbance to algorithmic disturbance of small world network organization, which will cause the brain to become unstable, disconnected. And because the brain is also hierarchical, then the hierarchy will be damaged and the bottom-up, top-down processes will also be disturbed. And this can explain why the person thinks false ideation about the environment, because the upcoming information from the lower levels of the hierarchy are disconnected from a higher level, biased ideations that are generated. So the brain is constantly doing error correction and error validation in order to get a pretty accurate internal representation of what is happening. And this is also the dynamics of a Bayesian brain, in the sense that the brain predicts what is happening and it adapts to, and adapts the representation to the environmental occurrences. And in this way, we have a good match between what is happening in reality and what the patient is thinking about. So the disconnection dynamics can also influence the hierarchy, and the hierarchy is part of a Bayesian brain which predicts and adapts to the environment. If this is damaged, then we have errors about the environment, errors about what is happening, and false interpretation, delusions. And on top of that, we have a more global dynamics, which is optimization dynamics, which is probably related to an emergent property of mood. And this emergent property of depression is a result of the disturbance to the brain Bayesian dynamics and the de-optimization of the internal representation, which is happening because the network is unstable, biased, and disconnected. Now, if this terminology that I have used now is new to you, then you have a lot of catching up to do, because this is a language of the future psychiatric diagnosis, and as you noticed, it relates a lot to the brain, cortex, dynamics, and so on, and which is etiological. It's not a descriptive. It is an etiological, brain-related language of disturbances, just like cardiac arrhythmia, brain arrhythmias, and this is the future. So if it's new to you, what I'm talking about, then go on the web, go to neuroanalysis.org.il, to my website, read about my books and about the literature, and you can ask me questions. My email is neuroanalysis@gmail.com, and see you then. Bye.